How's it going, everyone? ND Sean 45 coming at you. Now, I know this video is super late, but you see, I've been very busy as of late, and I really haven't had a lot of time to get on here and make videos. But late or not, I just wanted to get on here for a few minutes and talk about the blue and gold game from a couple weeks ago. Now, it's really not fair, in my opinion anyway, to judge a team strictly on its spring game. You really just can't do it definitively because there's a lot of things you got to figure in. And in Notre Dame's case, the whole team is not there. And there's a lot of incoming freshmen that the Irish have that are going to be arriving to South Bend over the summer that I strongly feel can contribute right away. Guys like Niles Morgan and Daniel Cage and so on and so forth, especially on the defensive line. And also, as I've said in years past, the spring game is you playing yourself, pretty much. And on top of that, Brian Kelly and our new defensive coordinator, Brian Van Gorder, they're not playing the whole playbook. They're going to be experimenting with a lot of different things. So it's not going to be accurate when the season gets here. So just, again, it's really not fair to judge a team on its spring game. But for what it's worth, let's go over a few of the highlights of that game. Malik Zaire, the one that all of us Irish fans have been talking about since we saw his performance in the spring game. And excuse me, guys, but I've got the Blackhawks game on in the background. They're in overtime right now. So if you see me nod off, that's what I'm looking at. Anyway, Malik Zaire, very impressive performance. 259 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns. He looked really good. He really did. But in the grand scheme of things, I still do think that when the season gets here, this will be Everett Golson's team to run, even though he's been off for a year from his academic issue. But Golson, I didn't think he was too bad. Clearly, he has a lot of rust to shake out yet, and it's very clear too that he has to get aside from DeVaris Daniels, he has to build a chemistry with the newer receivers that he hasn't really thrown too much, like Chris Brown and Corey Robinson and so on and so forth. Will Fuller, Alex Welsh. So it's gonna take some time for him to get back into the thick of things. But judging both quarterbacks, they both did really well, I felt. But I feel that they both have to work on their pocket performance. That could definitely use a lot of improvement. But that's the kind of quarterbacks they are too. They're scrambling quarterbacks, and they're going to scramble their way out of trouble a lot of the time when they get into it. But overall, it's a good problem to have because we got two talented quarterbacks, and God forbid anything happens to Golson, I feel confident knowing that Malik Zaire will be able to step in and fill that role. I'm very confident of that. The running backs, we are going to have a very, very solid core this year. I think this is going to be the year that Greg Bryant shines and that we see more of Torian Folston. And then you got the veteran Cam McDaniel leading the way. I mean, he's a complete workhorse. So there's really nothing negative to say about all three of these guys. They're fantastic. I really think this is going to be a breakout year for all of them, especially the two youngsters in Folston and Bryant. I mean, that 51-yard run that Bryant had was a beauty. Receivers, I was very impressed with Corey Robinson. He did a great job, made a lot of nice catches. What's his name? Chris Brown. It was nice to see him contribute. I believe he caught 5 balls for over 100 yards. And then Alex Welsh stepping in for the departing Troy Nicholas. I think he's going to continue that. Him and Durham Smythe, they're both going to continue that great tradition of tight ends at Notre Dame. Very solid performance out of each of them. The offensive line, they look great. And speaking of which, that's one thing we also got to keep in mind with Everett Golson. He was, and this is not a bad thing that I'm saying here. I'm not knocking the backup offensive lineman, but Golson was playing the majority of that game with the second string line. And to do what he did with the backups, that just shows you how good of depth we have at offensive line. So it was a very solid performance by everyone on offense. Defense, if you look at the numbers, it didn't really look that great. I mean, we gave up over nearly 400 yards of total offense. But like I said at the start of this video, you just know that Brian Van Gorder, he's not playing all of his defensive schemes. He's not going to give everything away in the spring game. But also, as I also mentioned, there's a lot of incoming defensive freshmen that I feel that can contribute right away that aren't there yet. So I still feel for what it's worth, they did pretty well, because we do have a talented offense that they were going up against. But I definitely see a lot of potential for good things to happen. Right now, my only concerns with the defense are our linebacking core outside of Jalen Smith. Waiting to see who can step up and contribute there, and then the safeties and corners. But I do feel that we have some very talented guys back there. That just come season time when it counts, they've got to step up. I mean, I thought Cole Luke did a nice job. Matthias Farley did a solid job breaking some plays up, and same with Elijah Shoemate at the safety position. They all did really well, but still, I think there's room for improvement there. But, I said the same thing a couple of years ago worrying about our defensive backfield situation, and they surprised the hell out of me. Did a great, they led us to a 12-0 season. So, yeah, I mean, overall, for what the spring game is, I thought it was a solid performance out of everybody. Clearly there was a lot of winter rust that was showing up, especially with Everett Golson, but still, for having a year off from the team, I thought he did pretty well. And once the fall gets here, we will definitely see him regaining control of the reins of that Notre Dame offense. And no disrespect to Malik Zaire whatsoever. I mean, I respect the fact that he's confident that he wants to be the opening day starter, and I understand that. But the thing is, this is Everett's team. He had 1 year of service for us, and I want to see what more he can do. But Malik will definitely get his chance down the road. That's a given. But it's nice to know we have a solid backup for a change, and so yeah, just overall, there's definitely a lot of potential on this team, and there's nothing that says that we can't have a spectacular season and hopefully make that one of the 4 spots in the first ever college football playoff system. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about the game. But also another topic I wanted to touch on that some of you had requested to hear thoughts from me on was Notre Dame making the announcement to put in field turf. Well, I made it no secret in past videos that I'm a very traditional guy on a lot of different things, but the field turf issue, I have no problem with whatsoever. Jack Swarbrick and Brian Kelly said it themselves. I mean, the team practices on field turf. Why not have them play the actual games on field turf as well? And I know a lot of traditionalists, which I still consider myself one. They like the grass. That's how what the game's always been played on. And I respect that. But as a fan of this football team, if anything that can help us win, I'm all for doing it. And if field turf will help us improve as a team, then go for it. I fully support it. So, yeah, guys, that's really all I have to say for you all in this video. Like I said, I'm sorry for sounding distracted, but the Hawks game is on right now, and down 1 game to the Blues, and hopefully by the time this video is uploaded, we are celebrating a win in Chicago. So, with that said, guys, this is ND Sean 45 signing off. I might have another video here in the next week or so. There is something that I did have in mind, so be on the lookout for it. So until then, this ND Sean 45 signing off once again. Go Irish, baby! Season's just around the corner.